Good afternoon, everyone. Right now, we are in the APSCE webinar on the 29 series. I think we can waiting for some audience, and some audience are joining to our webinar right now. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We are waiting for some audience. I think our audience are joining to our webinar. Okay, before starting our webinar, let me introduce myself. My name is Pashwin Panchapuri. I'm from Konkan University, Thailand. As well as I'm a chair of DICTAC of APSCE. So maybe I'm gonna be your moderator for today. I think we can waiting for audience for a while. For whom are joining our webinar, this is the webinar series from APSCE on the 29th series. This series is organized by DICTAC under APSCE. Right now, we are doing live streaming, and the video will be archived in the YouTube. If anyone like to share YouTube on your Facebook or on your social media, please be welcome. Or you can subscribe our APSCE YouTube as well. Because APSCE have like the channels. We have our own channel on Facebook, on YouTube. So I think it's time to start our webinar. Once again, let me introduce myself. I'm Pashwin Panchapuri from Konkan University, Thailand. This webinar is organized by the APSCE Development of ICT in the Asia Pacific Neighborhood, or DICTAC under APSCE Society. Today is APSCE webinar series number 29. Yes. On title, Emulating Real-World Context Using Social Robots and IoT-based Tangible Objects to Provide Embodied and Interactive Learning Experience by Professor Nen Chiang Chen. Professor Nen Chiang Chen is a chair professor in the Institute for Research Excellence in Learning Science and Program of Learning Science at the National Taiwan Normal University. He has a lot of outstanding works regarding robots and IoT-based objects. Today, we will not only listening to his talk, but he will provide us some demonstrations. Okay, I think it's time to start our webinar. Please welcome Professor Nen Chiang Chen.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you, APSCE series seminar, for giving me this opportunity to share my research in the field of, actually it should be in the field of robot-assisted language learning. Okay, but today I'm going to introduce a new system, which I call it R&T learning system. So let me share my slide, and then we can start from there. So the topic of my talk actually is focused on how we can use tangible objects to create a real world context, right? So as a teacher, when we want to teach a specific topic, then if we just only rely on like a traditional teaching material, or just using screen-based learning with like a multimedia content, then actually it's not really provide the authentic context for the learner. So I got this idea of how we can use a tangible object, to create the sensible learning environment, and then based on the real world context, either is a real thing in our society and environment, or you can just emulate, like I use a bunch of like toy objects. Then like you cannot take students to a real farm, but you can definitely create emulated farm with tangible objects, right? Okay, so that's the idea. So the solution actually focus on two main components. One is the tangible object, but the object need to be like IoT enabled. The reason why it needs to be IoT enabled is because we want the learner to manipulate the tangible object, and then the robot will be fully aware of what exactly is the object the learner is currently manipulating, right? So then the robot can then provide meaningful feedback. Okay, so that's the idea. And then I call this type of learning system as R and T. R is the robot, T is the tangible object. So in my talk, I will cover these 5 main topics. Okay, the first one, introducing R&T learning system. And the second one, I will introduce you the 3 unique features for R&T learning system. And then, as we all know, in the past 3 years, actually, even we would like students to physically participate in front of the robot and the emulated context that we created. But because of this global pandemic, right? So I realized, it would be difficult for students who has to be quarantined, to be able to participate physically. So we also try to invent R&T remote control. So through this R&T remote control, then the students actually can interact just through this mobile phone. Okay, so the affordance of the R&T system not just provide highly interactive learning activity with 3 types of interaction, but also very flexible for the learner to participate either physically or online or hybrid. Okay, and then we want to test the effectiveness of the R&T learning system. So we have different research groups focus on using different learning material, to design R&T learning application. So one group actually focused on using the English textbook. Okay, so from the grade 3 here in Taiwan, students must learn English, and they already have the curriculum, have the textbook. So then I come up with this idea of augmented textbook learning. And how we augment textbook learning effect is by leverage the affordance of educational robots and tangible objects. Okay, and because I also cooperate with a Chinese teacher in Australia, and then now many Australians, they try to learn Chinese, and they are also struggling, right? So we also use this R&T learning system to develop learning application to help students learn Chinese classifier. Okay, and my ultimate goal is to create a robot mother. So every baby now could have 2 mothers, right? Speaking first languages. So the biological mother would speak one language, and then the robot mother would speak another language. Okay, just put it into perspective in 2 different countries, like in Taiwan. So every single baby would have their biological mother, speaking Chinese, right? But then the baby also have a second mother, which is the robot mother, and the mother will speak in English. So from day 1, the baby will learn bilingual Chinese and English, and hopefully, I can use this the robot mother to cultivate multilingual baby. And the same for baby in Australia, because the mother already, speak in English, right? So the robot mother for Australian baby would be speak in Chinese. So then the baby in Australia can also, naturally, develop, both Chinese and English, all as first language, not second language, not foreign language. So that's my kind of my dream. My research team actually, cooperate with domain experts. They are all language domain experts. Okay, so and for me, my group only provide the technical support, and then help them, to implement their R&T learning activity design into executable machine executable program. So that's the reason why today we have so many applications we can demonstrate, because I cooperate with all these teams. And to be able to not just talk about theory and pedagogical design, I really want to showcase some real applications. So that's the reason, Yixiang, my research assistant, he is now joining with us. So if you look at the screen with the robot and the tablet, that's him. He will try to join with me to do live demonstration. So the first topic I want to elaborate the basic concept about R&T learning system. So remember, R is robot, T is tangible object. Now, actually, I should say tangible object actually representing the physical teaching aid. So even in the traditional teaching, teacher also use different types of physical teaching aids, right? But then, especially for young learner, I think physical teaching aid is very important. Okay, if it's a mature learner, maybe they already develop a very good abstract reasoning. Then tangible object, physical teaching aid might not be play relevant role, but for young kids, I think it's very important. Okay, so that is the reason why I emphasize on embodied cognition. Okay, and also focus on multimodality, right? So nowadays, the most popular one is the screen-based learning, right? So people consume digital content through different sizes of screens, no matter it's even a tiny watch, right? Or mobile device, right? Or tablet, or desktop, or projector screen. These are all screen-based learning, okay? But if you can kind of reflect and recall how a baby explore the world and learn new things, actually is through the hands-on experience, through how the body involved interacting with the surrounding object. I think that's very important. So I think we need to bring back that key component, okay? So that's the reason why I keep emphasizing on, this R&T learning system. We cannot, if the learning activity you design, most of the time, the students just, focus on the tablet, the digital content, then why bother to incorporate the robot, right? No point, right? And if the design is just focused on robots, I don't think it's effective. It's like teacher and parents, we are very good at rote learning, right? We keep talking, and yeah, but then at the end of the day, the students might easily get distracted. Okay, so to kind of improve the student engagement and involvement, I think with the tangible object, they can manipulate, they can hands-on, they can get their body involved, is the key. Okay, so the R&T learning system, we don't emphasize on digital material because screen-based learning is already widespread, right? Yeah, so we want to refocus on the learning experience from the childhood, right? And robot, especially in a different learning setting, robot will kind of representing a teacher's role, okay? And teacher also can play many different roles, right? But I would prefer the robot to be a learning companion. The robot could be, like a facilitator of learning, and not just like just cram knowledge one way to the learner. Okay, yeah. So the theory behind it actually is through robots and through team collaboration, then we can create active social learning effect, right? And then through the manipulating the tangible object, then we can then by applying the dual code theory, right? So then it's like a multi-channel, right? So then the knowledge and skill students acquire by involving the body, which will trigger the effect of embodied cognition, and by this, interacting with robot, with digital content, with the tangible object, through this kind of multi-modality. Overall, there are many scientific research already provide bunch of evidence, learning in embodied and multimodality learning setting, the students, the recall and retention, the knowledge they acquire, then afterwards they have to apply it, right? And then to be able to apply, they need to recall it. They have to, the knowledge must be able to retain for a sustainable time. So recall and retention will be much better if you just one channel, single channel, okay, without body involvement. Okay. Now I provide you another key concept about when a teacher wants to design meaningful learning activity, then what kind of conception the teacher should have. Then I always say a meaningful learning activity would always equip with these three components. The first one is the context, right? Because to be able to learn effectively for different topic or knowledge, then you must have the right context to kind of support that type of knowledge acquisition. Okay, so context. And then once a context is given, then you can generate different situations in the context, different situation. Okay, so the learning activity should be designed, based on different situations. Okay, and then once you have the learning activity, you want the learner to have the sense of ownership, so they can kind of gain the authenticity learning experience. So that part is important because all the learning activity we design, we would like the learner to have the sense of ownership, to have the kind of the sense of involvement, because they can do something themselves, right? Okay, so all the learning activity we design, we have to keep these three in mind, right? You provide a context, and then you given different scenario or situation, and then you design learning activity which the learner can engage with hands-on activity. So just give one particular example, like if we want to teach kids, different objects in the shopping center, then we can have the context like a shopping cart, right? And then because there are a bunch of different food items, then you can use that to create different scenario or situation, right? And then the learning activity you design, then the kids will be the robot will assign task, specific task, one at a time, and then the learner who has to kind of manipulate the tangible object and present it to the robot. So then they get the authentic learning experience. Okay. And let me give another example, like if the context setting is a farm, right? So then you cannot take students to the real farm, because that would be too, kind of, it's not every day you can do that, right? But you can always have this emulated farm using toy objects, right? Okay, so that's the context. Okay, and then once you have the context, then you can create a sensible situation, like if the horses are hungry, how do you do, right? So horses are hungry is the condition, the situation, and then based on this situation, you create a specific learning task. Then you say, okay, maybe you need to take the straw, to feed the horse, right? And then if this is just purely screen-based learning, how can students do? Just repeat after me, Okay, language learning, right? But now, no, it's like it's a situated learning. So then, by applying the multimodality and embodied learning cognition theory, right? It's all kind of embedded in the learning activity. Okay, so let me introduce you the 3 types of interaction provided by the RNT learning system. So as I just elaborated, because they are actually 3 main components. Okay, one is the robot, right? And another one is the tangible object created, emulated context or environment. And then the third one actually is this tablet. Okay, but here I don't emphasize on this tablet because this tablet is treated as a teaching aid to the robot teacher. It's like a real human teachers. They will carry a tablet in the classroom, right? So the tablet is actually a teaching aid. Okay, so it's not the main thing, right? It's the teacher can use the tablet to access the internet digital material and then present it to the student. Okay, so the tablet is just a tool, but the autonomy should be on the teacher. Here it should be on the robot teacher, right? But then the focus, if the robot wants to assign a task to learner, then the task should be based on the context. Yeah, so that's the idea. So then with this in mind, then it's very easy. You can see, oh, so for learner can interact with the robot, right? Through oral communication. Robot can, a learner can interact with tangible objects through IoT-enabled tangible objects. So now, in my lab, the tangible object, either we can associate with the QR code. So then you can scan the QR code. The robot will know what exactly is the object. Or we also equip with this, NFC tag. It's just very handy NFC tag. So you can attach the NFC tag to any object, right? Like the shopping cart example. If the robot say, oh, what is your favorite fruits? And then because you have bunch of fruits here, right? And then the learner say, oh, my favorite fruit is apple. Then how can you present this apple to the robot? Of course, you can take the object to show to the robot using image recognition. Then robot will say, oh, you like apples, right? But my favorite fruit is banana, or things like that, right? But I would say to recognize an object using image recognition is not as effective as I just attach a tag, NFC tag to the apple, right? Easy. Then if I want to tell a robot my favorite fruit is apple, I can easily to just tap the apple. Actually, it's a real apple to the NFC reader. Immediately, robot will know. So that's the interaction between learner and tangible object. The third type will be the digital content, right? So of course, robot can still present, digital material on the tablet. Now we use tablet as a kind of cross feedback loop, like a speech to text or text to speech. So the learner responds to robot by answering a question, right? And then the robot will use speech to text to detect if the learner's response is correct or not. And then, then the recognized text will display on the tablet. So even the pronunciation is no good, but then you can get immediate feedback. You know, oh, I didn't pronounce well for, which parts of the sentence. Okay, so the digital content also provides that kind of cross-loop feedback. And then there are also 3 modes of participation by using IoT learning system. First one, of course, is local. The learner physically, interact with the IoT system, or online through this remote control. Okay, or you can be hybrid. You can have some students in front of the robot and some students participate online, which will be is the case, right? If the students contract the COVID, then that particular student cannot go into the classroom, but they can still join their teammates, to do the learning activity through the IoT remote control. Okay, now I want to, because it seems it's good time for me to take a rest. So we want to demonstrate our first application to show you these 3 types of interaction. And then if you could, you can pin Yixiang's screen. So you will become full screen, and then you will be able to see better. Okay, so Yixiang, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so start.
Hello, this is Cabby. Welcome to the RNT interaction example. There are 3 types of interactions in the RNT learning system. First, you can interact directly with me. You can touch my head, belly, right hand, left hand, left cheek, right cheek. Next, you can use the tablet to interact with me as well. And finally, you can scan the QR code on the tangible object to interact with me. You can now touch my body to interact with me.
Okay, so we will do 3 demos. The first one, Yixiang will, like the mode 1, physical participator. So all the interaction will be physically touch the robot and the screen, the screen. Okay, so Yixiang, you do demo 1 first.
Okay. Now touching left hand.
Hello, learners. This is my left hand. Now, learner, please say this is my left hand.
This is my left hand.
Your answer is this is my left hand. You're correct. Now, learner, please choose the right spelling below.
This one.
The answer is left hand. You're correct. Now, please scan the QR code of left hand.
Now scanning the QR code of left hand.
The QR code you scanned is left hand. You are correct. Well done.
Okay, so that's 1 cycle to demonstrate 3 interactions. But it's not just to show you, oh, there are 3 types of interaction, because it's meaningful, right? Because if you want to learn a vocabulary, like a left hand, right hand, right? Then you have to be able to listening comprehension. So robot say, oh, okay, this is my left hand. Then you understand this is, listening comprehension, right? And then robot then ask, oh, can you say this is my left hand? Then that's speaking, right? So then the learner has to speak to the robot. This is my left hand, okay? And then the robot will use speech recognition to assess, right? And then the robot then, displayed multiple choices on the screen. So that's the reading, right? That's the reading part. Then the learner has to be able to choose the correct answer from the screen tablet. And then the third one, actually, even we say scan a QR code, but my idea actually is to attach the QR code or the NFC tag to a door, a tangible object, like now kids always kind of attached to a door. Then they have the hand, the head, right, the belly. So then if we have the touch sensor, then it's easy to touch my left hand, touch my right hand, touch my belly. So that get the embodiment going. Okay, so that even is 3 types of interaction, but actually behind it, it has this, educational implication. Why you want students to do this, particular task. Yeah. Okay, then next, our simulator. I'm a student who contracted COVID, so I cannot physically participate, right? So then I will use this R&T remote, to participate, and then through this, video conference, I can see Yixiang's robot. Yixiang now representing a teacher, facilitate this learning process, right? So now I will touch head.
Hello, Nianxing. This is my head. Now, Nianxing, please say this is my head.
This is my head.
Your answer is this is my head. You're correct. Now, Nianxing, please choose the right spelling below.
Okay, so now I can also, even the tablet is not in front of me, but I have this to simulate the multiple choices. So I can then just touch the answer.
The answer is head. You're correct. Now, please scan the QR code of head.
So now, because the teacher can prepare all the material and share to the students, right? So students also has this, or they have the tangible object prepare for every student. Then the student can just scan. No?
No，老师可能要远一点。
Oh, okay.
The QR code you scanned is head. You are correct. Well done.
Okay, And then the hybrid, I think we need to, we don't really need to do a demo because it's like, one part of the task, students can physically do it. And then another part, the students from online can also participate, right? Okay. So, okay. So the next demonstration, I want to show you another feature, which is one robot, but multiple tablet. So if you pay attention, you will realize just now I can listen to the robot online, no problem. I can speak to the robot, no problem. But it would be very difficult for me to see clearly the information presented on the screen. So now I want to switch my camera, okay? And then I will also synchronize with Yixiang's robot. So just a second, okay? So now, so Yixiang, let's demonstrate the adaptive learning learning activity 3.
老师，你可能要停止分享荧幕，那个我们画面会比较大一点。
Oh, I see. Okay.
Adaptive learning.
Yes.
3. Okay. 3.
So now I have to choose which robot I want to connect. So I'm representing an online learner, and then I participate from remote, right? But I don't have robot, so I just join John's robot. John is my research assistant over there, right? So I'll just join. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So this app, we can ask robot for questions. Bitcoin price, weather, COVID-19 cases, and time. So now I'm asking. Sorry.
Hello, learner. You can ask me a question after touching my belly.
What is the current Bitcoin prices?
See?
The current Bitcoin price
Synchronized.
is $18,320.
So my screen actually synchronized with Yixiang. Okay. Yeah. So Yixiang, let me demonstrate how maybe I can also ask a question from remote. Okay.
Okay.
So you so just a second.
Sorry, I cannot answer the question.
So I should touch.
You can ask me the information about weather, cryptocurrency prices,
Okay.
COVID-19 cases or now time, etc.
So first I have to touch the belly to be able to ask a robot a question. How is the weather today?
Winds gradually subsiding and warmer with intervals of clouds and sunshine.
Okay, so Yixiang, you do another demo yourself.
Okay. So how many COVID-19 cases today?
On November 9, the Central Epidemic Command Center announced 24,974 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Taiwan.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. So see, because my screen actually synchronized with Yixiang's robot, right? So this mode is very useful for one robot, but many students can participate online, and they can still see very clearly about the digital content presented, because the the tablet actually is now in front of the online students. And because the MOE of Taiwan actually promoting one student, one tablet. So I think tablet will be widely available, but robot is not, right? So teacher can still use one robot and then use one robot with many tablets, and then they can still, get students involved in this kind of learning activity. Yeah. Next one.
林口的量词
Okay, good idea. So now you just focus on 意向 screen.
老师，请问这样画面有变大吗？
No, but I think it's fine because we are going to show the real tangible object.
OK。So this app is learning Chinese major word.
Welcome to Unit 6. In Unit 6, we are going to learn how to say a piece of cake, 2 pieces of cake, and 3 pieces of cake in Chinese. Let us check if you have learned it before. By the way, if you would like to listen to the question again, just touch my head, then I will repeat it. Question 1. Look at this picture and choose the correct pronunciation.
The answer is 蛋糕.
Well done. In Chinese, we pronounce cake as 蛋糕. Question 2. Look at the picture and choose the correct pronunciation.
Answer is A.
Well done. In Chinese, 杯儿快. Question 3. Look at the picture and choose the matching image of 一块蛋糕.
Okay, so if the student don't know the answer, he can touch. I don't know.
It is not this one. It should be option B. Let us learn it. Take a look at the picture on the tablet. It is 1 piece of cake. In Chinese, we say 一块蛋糕. Please find the card to organize Numo. Classifier and phrase off 一块蛋糕. Then scan it for me.
Okay, so this app have 3 kind of card: card of number, card of measure word, and card of noun. Okay, so now we are scanning the QR code of 一块蛋糕. So the first one is 1, and it will show on the tablet. The second one is 块. Okay. And final, find the cake. Scan.
Well done. Remember its pronunciation and sequence. We pronounce it as 一块蛋糕. Repeat after me for 2 times, and then touch my belly every time you finish. 一块蛋糕.
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 Very good. Let us move on. Question 4. Look at the picture and choose the correct pronunciation.
The answer is this one.
Well done. In Chinese, we pronounce 4 pieces of cake as 2块蛋糕. Question 5. Look at the picture and choose the correct Chinese character for the classifier. 块. It is not this one. It should be option C. Let us learn it. Take a look at the picture on the tablet. They are 3 pieces of cake. In Chinese, we say
3块蛋糕
the Chinese character marked with
，A
word circle is.
块
Please find the cards representing this numeral classifier and phrase off.
3块蛋糕
Then scan them for me.
3. Okay. Pieces. And cake.
Well done. Remember its pronunciation and sequence. We pronounce it as.
3块蛋糕
Repeat after me for 2 times. And then touch my belly every time you finish.
3块蛋糕
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 Very good. Let us move on. Now, let us play a game. Please find and scan the object I want. I would like to have a relaxing afternoon tea. Could you help me by?
2块蛋糕
So now we are scanning the QR code of tangible object. This is 老师，你的声音没有打开。
Okay, so here is the key concept that we want to show you how learner manipulate real tangible object to get the effect of embodied cognition.
Great. Let us sit down and enjoy our meal. I am starving right now. And you get
1块蛋糕
for me. They are in the kitchen.
So one piece of cake.
Can you scan a wrong one and then the correct one? Later?
Okay, so let's try the wrong one. Let's try 3 pieces of cake.
This is not what I want. Look at the picture on the tablet. Want?
1块蛋糕
Please try again.
We'll show the answer, so we can try again.
Thank you. You are such a lifesaver. I have seen the menu for afternoon tea. Would like to order
3块蛋糕
3 pieces of cake.
Thank you. They are really tasty. Good job. Let us review what we have just learned. Take a look at the picture on the tablet. It is 1 piece of cake. In Chinese, we say
1块蛋糕
next one. They are 2 pieces of cake. In Chinese, we say
2块蛋糕
last one. They are 3 pieces of cake. In Chinese, we say
3块蛋糕
all right. Quick review. Listen carefully to what I say.
1块蛋糕2块蛋糕3块蛋糕
Please repeat after me for 1 time. Touch my belly every time you finish.
1块蛋糕
1块蛋糕
2块蛋糕
2块蛋糕
3块蛋糕
3块蛋糕
Now, let us check whether you remember what we have learned so far. Please show me the object of
1盘蛋糕
Okay, so 1盘蛋糕 is a plate of a cake.
well done. In Chinese, we pronounce
A
plate of cake as
1盘蛋糕
please show me the object of
1盘牛奶
So this is the toy of milk.
well done. In Chinese, we pronounce
A
plate of milk as
1盘牛奶
please show me the object of
1碗苹果
a bowl of apple.
Well done. In Chinese, we pronounce
哎，
bowl of apples as
一碗苹果。
congratulations.
Okay.
Completed Unit 6. Let
Yeah.
us learn Unit
You
7
can close the app.
Okay.
So due to we don't have much time left. Okay, so I think even I still have 3 more applications to show you, but I think it's just different types of learning applications showing different modality. Okay, so before I wrap up my talk, I want to present you one video, small video clip. And then I would ask you to pay attention to the learning behavior change from the first 30 seconds to the later 30 seconds. Okay, and after that, we will, have a Q&A section. And that particular video got me say, oh, I really provide a very good solution for students because, okay, you will see. Okay, later. Okay. So just a second, video. Video. Right here. Yes. I think I have to stop sharing. Share. Right here. Go. And play. Okay, this is the first change, behavior change. Because when you present this kind of real context, which students can hands-on, they get very excited. So this kid at the beginning, he didn't listen to what exactly is the task assigned from the robot. He just keep scanning different objects and hopefully to make it right? But robot just keep, responding, oh, this is not the right answer, this is not the right answer. So after, trying a couple of times, eventually the kid kind of, okay, whatever. He came back and sit in front of the robot. And later you can see, the behavior makes a dramatic difference. The kids actually pay attention to what exactly the robot's command is, and then perform the action accordingly. Okay, so let's continue to watch.
Yellow. 答对了，我终于懂了。
Leaning to the robot. hopefully again.
Alright, next, blue or yellow fish. Miracle.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay. So I have stopped sharing the screen, right? Yeah. So I think this is all I got, you know, because within 1 hour it's very difficult to accommodate all the material. But I think today, hopefully, I already achieved 2 goals. One, now you understand the concept of INT learning system and 3 types of interaction and 3 modes of participation. You also can see through our real demonstration how context, situation, and authenticity, been, kind of realized through the learning activity we designed for the kids. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Now I would, happy to answer whatever question you might have.
Thank you very much, Professor Nian Xuan. This is a very wonderful presentation and wonderful talk for our this time webinar series. So yes, as mentioned by Professor Nian Xuan, this is a time for Q&A. You can type your question in the Q&A menu at the bottom of your screen. Professor Nian Xuan is still here to answer your question. Okay.
I think it's fine. Maybe, they still need time to consume.
Yeah, during the waiting for the questions, maybe I ask you some questions about could you share us about the implementations in the school? So how how does it work, or what about the student feeling or something like that, as well as the teacher feelings?
You mean the feedback from the teacher or the student?
Yes, both teachers and students.
Oh, actually, because all the learning activity actually is not designed, by my team. Because as I presented at the beginning, I cooperate with domain teachers. So for the English learning activity,
Yes.
I cooperate with English professor from the applied foreign language department, and they also cooperate with the school teacher. So I asked them, I first provide a training section to show them, like a kind of similar to today, I elaborate what exactly is INT learning system, what are the affordance of different modality, like a robot, digital content, tangible object. Then I present some application, which I already developed, like the 3 interaction, okay, for them to get the idea. And then they will work on what I call paper script. Okay, so I provide a template, okay, for them to design INT learning activity. They don't need to do any coding. They just kind of presenting their learning activity ideas through the template. So they will say, okay, I want robot to say this sentence. And then I want robot to have this facial expression, this body movement. Then I want this particular digital content to be presented on the tablet. So they specify all this. Okay, I call it paper script. Then it's kind of, I act as an instructional designer. They are domain expert, right? So then I kind of work together with them. So they have the first version of script. Then I will then double check and say, oh, maybe I make some suggestion and comments. They revise the script. So after a couple of iterations, when I say, oh, it's ready, then I will hand over to the coder. The coder will then implement the script into executable computer program. That's what you have seen today. We use it for demonstration, but actually those are the applications the teacher will then use for their students. Okay, so for the Chinese learning, the same. I work with Chinese teacher in Australia, and they design the script, then I implement, and then they provide it to their students, and then they get feedback. So then, after, they have developed, a couple of applications. Now they are very enthusiastic because now they get the idea, right? So now I need a lot of coder to help me implementing script from different group of domain experts.
Yes, very good. So we have our questions in Q&A bottom. Professor Nguyen, could you open Q&A question? We have 2 questions.
No, actually, I didn't see anyone.
Okay, you can click on the bottom Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Could you see Q&A menu? Can you menu?
No, I opened the chat, so it's not in the chat.
Not the chat. Next to the chat bottom.
I don't have the Q&A.
Yeah, in the left, on your left hand side. Could you see it? Maybe I will copy the question in the chat.
Okay, please, because I don't have that Q&A button.
Okay.
Oh, yes, just a second.
Okay.
I saw it.
Okay, it's good.
Okay. The first question, in terms of science learning, do you have any particular suggestion or recommendation? How can we develop and use robot and tangible object in? Yeah, I think the makerspace is the perfect solution, right? Because the maker already kind of widespread in, I think in many different parts of the world. Maker, right? For science learning, right? But if we incorporate what has been designed using makerspace, then we can have the robot to facilitate the process. I think that would be wonderful, right? And the tangible object actually is already representing or designed in makerspace. They already have a bunch of science learning, which students need to have some hands-on activity, right? They have to make something, right? But to be able to take the benefits from R&D, the object need to be IoT enabled. So robot can then be better aware of how can robot respond in real time in a meaningful way. Okay, so I think that's perfect for science learning. Okay, but because my focus is more on language learning, but I'm pretty sure the same idea, concept, and design principle can be applied to science learning using R&D. Okay, so the second question is, thank you, Professor. I want to know what are your 2 dreams in your slide. One dream I already shared. I want to build a robot mother to cultivate a multilingual baby, right? So So that's my dream. Okay. Another dream is actually I want to use IoT for science learning. And actually I have built a couple of aquaponics systems which you can feed the fish, and the fish would then help grow the plant. And I realized there are a lot of science knowledge and skill involved in setting up and operate this kind of IoT-based aquaponics system. So I already set up 5 systems, very big one, in the backyard in my Australia home. And I realized if every school can set up one aquaponics system using IoT, I think it's a very good, kind of learning context for science learning. So that's my true dream.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Nianxiong. I think, yeah, time flies. Time flies so fast for the wonderful presentation, and I think the audience may have a lot of questions to use. Maybe after this talk, they can email you for seeking some collaborations or some questions. So let me introduce you guys for our next webinar. In on title, The Metaverse and Language Learning by Professor Yu Lu Lan from National Taiwan Normal University, Taiwan. Okay, I think we can see you guys on the next webinar. And okay. Today I'd like to thank you very much for Professor Nianxiong for today's talks and for your sharing ideas and sharing experience about robots in like how we can apply or how we can use the robot into the classroom. Even we have the pandemic situations. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Nianxiong.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share. And I really appreciate that everyone participated in today's webinar. And thank you for sharing my section. Oh, by the way, I want to acknowledge the contribution from my RA, Yixiang. You did a very wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. And thank you for all audience to join with us today. And see you on next webinar.
Okay, see you.
See you and bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Hope to see you at ICCE 2022 in Malaysia. Bye.